Okay, so good morning, everyone. So welcome to MA 311, section AO3. So today is the first day of the semester. So as usual, I will go over the syllabus and also and we go from there, right? Do you have any question before we get started? Okay. All right. So I post the most course contents on the Blackboard already. So let's just get to that first. All right. So you log on to our Blackboard course, and you see the syllabus and textbook has been posted. And you don't have to purchase the textbook, right? So this is a customized textbook for FIT, and it's in PDF file, so you can use it. But first of all, let's take a look at the syllabus. Okay, so let me open it. All right, so this is MA 311, section AO3, and that's my email address. That's my name, and then you can always email me. I'm an email person, so I usually will get back to you within 24 hours if you email me. Okay, and then every Wednesday we will meet from 11:10 to 1 p.m. Okay, so online via Zoom, right? And also Friday, 11:10 to 1 p.m. as well. And also on a Friday class, typically we will use the time to do Excel labs. You're gonna have about 7-8 Excel labs throughout the semester, and Friday's class is mainly used to complete the Excel projects. And this textbook is constructed by one of my colleagues, Renee Mathis, for just designed specifically for MA 311. And each week there will be an Excel lab, and then the test will cover the material from labs. So the labs are pretty important. Not only you get some useful knowledge about the Excel, you also prepare for the upcoming test. Okay, so next thing is about the grade distribution. So attendance, class participation, it's worth 5%. So basically, when you sign up into the Zoom, I want to make sure all of you guys have your first and last name in your Zoom account. So in that case, I would take attendance using your screen name. So in that case, I know who is attending the class, and you get a proper attendance grade, right? And then homework quizzes is worth 15%, and Excel project it's worth 20%. And you're gonna have 3 exams. Exam number 1, 20%. Exam number 2, 20%. Exam number 3 is also worth 20%. So it comes to a total of 100%. And any questions so far about the grade distribution? So also I want to show you how the Blackboard calculate the grade for this based on this particular weighted average. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to give you a hypothetical scenario, and you'll be able to calculate the grade yourself. All right. So for example, right. So this is okay. So let me show you in a second. Let me share the screen. Here you go. Okay. So we have different items. So for example, let's say one of your classmates, right? So attendance, one of your classmates get 100 on attendance. That means he or she earned 5 points for that particular item. For homework, you're gonna submit 3 homework assignments on the due date, and I'll give you the due date in a second, right? So you'll be posted. Okay, so here you go. So homework quizzes 15%. Let's say on average, get 80 on that homework, and then quizzes, that's 12 point earned for that particular item. So Excel projects, it's 20%. Let's say on average you get 90 points, right? Grade is 90, so 20% times 90 will be 18 points. And then exam number 1, that's also 20%. Let's say you get 90 on the first exam, that's 18 points. And for second exam, you get 100. Okay, that's 20%. Okay, 20 points. And then for the exam number 3, you also get let's say 80. So that's 16 points. So if you sum up those items, that'll be your total course grade, right? So this 30, 35, 35 plus 18, 53, 73, 73 plus 16 is 89. Okay, so 89 is definitely a solid B plus. And depends on class participation, you know, performance, and then also the effort you make towards, you may end up with A minus, right? It's possible. Depends on the effort you put into the class. Okay, so that's how you calculate the course grade. And then if you do it yourself, right? But for now, we don't have too many items, you know, there's no items available yet. So you could just keep in mind, you know, that's how you calculate the final course grade. Blackboard will calculate in the exact same way. And by the end of the semester, I'll post all this grade, and you'll be able to, you know, look at your grade, you know, when you log into the Blackboard, right? And typically you will see the total score for the course, and also the letter grade right next to it. Okay. All right. Any question about the calculating the final course grade? Okay. Now let's move on to the syllabus. And so here, class participation. So we have virtual meetings. So I expect you to come to the meeting on time, right? And also complete your homework in a timely fashion. So that's the most important thing. So to get credit for the homework, you must submit it via the Blackboard using a PDF file on due date. Okay, so for the homework, you could work on it in a paper or in a Word document or Excel document, but eventually you're going to convert it to PDF file and then submit it on a Blackboard, right? So I already created a homework submission, you know, Dropbox here. So I will put a due date here, and then you could just, okay, you can just upload it on this homework submission site, okay. And also Excel project submission, I will post all the Excel project, you know, right here. And you can also find a file here, and also submit a file on the same, via the same file, right? I'll give you more details later on. When you have the first project, I will show you how to do that. And that's pretty much about homework. And again, you need to submit it as a PDF file. Okay. And the due date, I will talk about the due date in a second. And there will be no makeups, right? So meaning you need to show up for the exams. Okay, and then we have 3 exams, and then you need to show up for that. Unless you have a doctor's appointment or maybe family emergencies, and you should let me know. There's no makeup under the normal circumstances, but if there is a medical condition or family emergency, something like that, I will accommodate you, right? I will give you a makeup under those conditions. And policy on plagiarism, so no plagiarism, you know, no cheatings on the homework, Excel labs, and exams. Okay, and also you need a scientific note, a calculator for this, starting the second class, because this class is calculation based class, meaning you're gonna do a lot of calculation, either using the Excel or the scientific calculator. So if you already have a scientific calculator, you can use it, no problem. You know, any scientific calculator is good, right, for the course. But if you do not have one, I can recommend a good calculator for you. So and also it's pretty affordable. So if you go to Google, type in TI30 XIIS calculator, and this is pretty decent calculator, and it's fairly affordable. Also, you can pretty much use it for all the math classes you need in at FIT. Also, any courses requires scientific calculator, and this calculator is pretty decent, right? You consider the pricing and also but some of you guys may already have a TI series calculator. Definitely any TI series calculator will be good, right, for the course. You just have to learn how to use it. Okay. Any questions so far about the calculator? Anything? Okay. And feel free to jump in, right, and then raise your question if you have any question. I'm more than happy to answer that before we move on. Okay. All right, so this is the calculator part, and yep, so you need one, right? So, okay, and if you miss a class, you are responsible for the material cover. Meaning, I will post the Zoom meeting recording once we finish the class, and then I will typically post it in a Blackboard. You can find it here, right? I'll create a link, I guess. Content under the content area. Okay, and I'll put Zoom meeting recording. And you'll be able to find our recordings here. And or sometimes if necessary, you want to review some, content we talk about in the class, you can also find it here, right? That's about the Zoom meeting recording as a reference, also as a study guide for you. And the course outline, let's take a look at the course outline. So we're gonna take a look at how to graph and analyze and create linear equations. That's from chapter 1. So we're gonna analyze basic business situations using linear equations, graph and demonstrate understanding of fundamental characteristics of exponential equations, and use it to model important real life scenarios. And you will learn how to demonstrate understanding of the time value of the money, and also the basic financial concepts like finance formulas and important elements in the financial world. And we will solve real life financial problems using basic finance formulas. And we will take a look at the annuity formulas to fully characterize mortgage, sinking funds, and other financial transactions. And you'll be able to create amortization schedules for the mortgage using with or without Excel. You'll be able to recognize and explain coherently the risks and benefits of different kind of mortgages. And you will learn how to calculate the price of bonds from their interest rate, and calculate the interest accrual on the credit card debt. And you'll be able to demonstrate and understand the basic concept of probability, and that's from chapter 4, right, which is last chapter we will cover. And use Excel to solve algebraic problems and demonstrate the understanding of algebraic functions of Excel. Use Excel to solve basic specific questions in finance and algebra, and then also use Excel as analysis tools to solve problems beyond financial algebraic problems. And yeah, that's pretty much you will learn and then conquer throughout the semester. And this is our course schedule. So on the week 1, we will look at the linear equations and spend a couple lectures on linear equations. And then also week 2, we're still on the linear equations, and this is the section will be to read, and also I will post the PowerPoint for you to review before the class. And then week 3, we'll take a look at exponential equations, mainly focus on section 2.1, 2.2. And also all these homework assignments are listed already, right? If you look at on week 1, after linear equation 1 from section 1.1 to 1.5, you're going to have homework assignment from 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5. So if you open the textbook, if you go down to the section 1.3, you start to have a homework. So you go to the back of the section 1.3, you're going to see there are 7 exercises here, and you are responsible for the R1s, right? All the R1s, like 1, 3, 5, 7, you need to complete it. Typically for the even problems, for most of the even problems, we will go over that in the class. So in that case, you can utilize that to complete your homework as a guideline, right? And yeah, basically every section you have homework assignments, you just need to complete the other ones, okay? Any question about the homework assignments? And also on week 4, we're gonna take a look at application of the exponential equations. We take a look at section 2.3. And then your exam number 1 will take place after week number 4, meaning on week number 5, you're gonna have exam number 1 from section 1.1 all the way to section 2.3. And then meanwhile, the homework from section 1.1 to 2.3 are due on the same date. So when we're taking the exam number 1, that's also when the homework assignment is due. So let me give a tentative date. For example, this is week 5. So we on week number 1 right now, week 2, 3, 4, 5. So somewhere around February, so on February 24th, most likely you're gonna have exam number 1. And that means your homework from section 1.1 to 2.3 are due on the same date. Okay. So does that make sense? All right. So, but I will keep you posted, right? Throughout the semester, I remind you before the due date of the homework, also the exam. Yeah. And on week 6, we're gonna start looking at a finance concept called interest. We can look at the simple interest and compound interest, and that's from section 3.1. And week 7, we look at compound interest, continuous interest, and then APR, right? That's from section 3.2. And week number 8, we take a look at annuities, which is from section 3.3. Week 9, we look at amortization schedules, mainly for the mortgages. And that's from textbook section 3.4. And we're also going to have other topics, typically handouts on some topics from finance if you have a time. And then after that, on week 11, you're going to have exam number 2, and also homework assignments from section 3.1 to 3.4 is due on the same date of the exam number 2. Okay. And week 12, we will start chapter 4 on the basic probabilities, section 4.1. And then week 13, we look at expected values on section 4.2. And also week 14, Bayes theorem. Week 15, we continue on Bayes theorem. And also after that, on week 16, you're gonna have exam number 3. And also homework from section should be 4.1 to 4.4 due, right? So that's a typo here, I will modify that. It's from 4.1 to 4.4, okay. And note that we will record a weekly Zoom meeting session as your reference. And just in case you missed the class or are confused about the course contents, if you do not want your voice or image to be recorded, you can mute your camera and audio during the class sections, right? I have no problem with that. Okay. But make sure your screen name on the Zoom account it's clear, right? So I can take proper attendance. Okay. All right. So any questions so far?
Hi, Professor. I've got one question. If can we send in or ask you about the homeworks to like check before the official due date? Like if we're confused, can we send them to you and maybe have you review them before we have that final submission day?
Definitely.
Okay.
I can review that for you. So on Fridays, while you're working on the Excel labs, right, you can also ask for help. If you need
Okay.
any help on your homework assignment, I'm more than happy to help you out and also check your result. You can.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, very good question. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So first of all, I also want to introduce a little bit on the Excel, right? Since we're gonna start have Excel labs this Friday, so I will give you the first lab. Maybe do some exercise, on the Excel things. Yeah. So let me just open the Excel, and then we do some basic demonstration on Excel, and that's plan for today. So let me open Excel. Okay, you can also open Excel, and then while I'm try to show you some basic features of Excel, you can also get familiar on your own laptop or desktop. Okay, here we go. So this is a typical interface of the Excel, and in the Excel, you're gonna see a whole bunch of the rectangle box, right? We call this rectangle cell. Typically, we call this cell, and for each specific cell actually has index. We call this index, and you can use that to quickly look up any cell on the Excel spreadsheet. So, for example, on this particular cell highlighted in green box, we typically use B2, B1 to represent it, right? And where this index comes from is the letter from the column and then the number from the row. That gives us the index for each Excel, like each element in Excel spreadsheet. So in that case, we can randomly pick a particular cell here, and then we can easily get the cell number for that, right? Or like index for that particular cell. For example, if let's say you pick this one, that would be D4, right? So the cell D4. So this is the important thing about Excel. And you can randomly pick any cell here, you can quickly find the corresponding index for that. And if you have a large data set, a lot of numbers, let's say, that becomes important, right? And also, we can utilize these cells to conduct the calculation here. Another example could be, for example, let's say we create we have a data, right? Numbers, let's say a data set. Okay, so now in this data set, we have some numbers. I just randomly create some numbers. Let me just delete that. And 25, 32. I'm gonna create 6 numbers here. Okay, 65, and then let's say 38. Okay, something like that. So we can do a whole bunch of things about this data set. First of all, I'm gonna show you some basic settings here. Let's say you want to bold it. You can go onto this particular under this big category here. We can bold it, right? The shortcut is a control B on the keyboard. And you can get that. You can also italic that, right? So it depends on your needs. And also put underline, if you want to underline that. Okay, and then besides that, we can change alignment here, right? So let's say you want to make it center. That typically look nice, if you center that. You can also align to the right, align to the left, right? So it depends on the needs of your let's say project, or maybe like you want to do some demonstration on analyzing the data, and then by changing certain characteristics of these settings becomes important. And that's basically the first thing you look at. And also, if let's say you want to put in a border, create a table for this, right? You can just go onto the border here, and then you put in all borders. Okay. Now it look like a table, right? If you want to call that a table, that's totally fine. And now right here, I'm going to show you a couple of things. And you can create a total column right next to it, right under the B8. So under B8, you put in total. And if you sum up these numbers, there's a shortcut here. You can sum up the numbers. It's called auto sum, right? You get that. So the total for all those 6 numbers is 210. Okay, that would be the total. So this is using the shortcut to get a result. But if you look at it, we can also do a formula here, right? So you do put in equal sign. So in Excel, if you want to calculate anything, you need to put in the equal sign. Okay. So put in the equal sign and then put in sum, meaning you want to sum up all these different like numbers. So then one thing you can do is highlight all those numbers you try to sum up, okay, which is basically from C2 all the way to C7. As you can see, the column in the middle here indicating you are summing up all the numbers from C2 and then all the way to C7. Okay, and then you close it. All right. And basically, that's what you have. So you get C2 all the way to C7. Okay, and then if you enter that, that will give you the result 210. And that's just something you could do in Excel. Meaning, and also let's say if you want to calculate the average, right, of those 6 numbers. One way to do it is just dividing the number by 6, right? You can also do a count. Let's say you have a large data set and a lot of numbers. You don't know how many are there. You can use this formula called count to count it. So you can highlight C2 all the way to C7. And Excel will count how many numbers are there. And using the cell, we get this average is 35. Okay. You can also use a formula here called average to get a result. So you can just put in the average, right? Type in the formula average, and then highlight all those numbers. Now C2 to C7, you also get the same result, right? 35. Okay. And just some basic features in Excel, which brings some convenience. And Excel can handle a lot of complicated calculations. Also later on, when we get to the more sophisticated, financial transactions, and we need to do some calculation, and Excel are more than capable of handle all those calculations from our contents. Okay, so you can definitely utilize Excel, and if let's say you want to use Excel instead of scientific calculator, you are more than welcome to do that, right? You can definitely do that either using scientific calculator or Excel by utilizing the knowledge you learn in the class. Okay. All right. Any questions so far about the Excel? Okay. And typically you will work on the Excel projects on a weekly basis. So you typically want to, let's say for the a project takes about 2 weeks to complete. You couldn't complete in one class sections. You should always save it, right? Save under your desktop or laptop, and you can easily retrieve it next time when you continue working on the project. So always save the progress so you don't lose any work. You don't want to redo your Excel projects along the way. Okay, so just something you want to quick things to remind you. And also here, let's say you want to insert a graph, you can go on top right here, click on insert, and you see a whole bunch of charts available here. You can see pie chart histogram, bar chart, right? A different kind of chart, scatter plot. All these available here for you to utilize if you need it. And also page layout, you can change the margin, change the orientation of your Excel spreadsheet, and also formulas under the main category formulas. If you click on insert functions, now here this drop down, this box will pop up, and as you can see here, there are different kind of formulas available here. So there's a financial formulas, and also we have a different math formulas like absolute values, ABS, right? You can quickly look it up here. Statistical formulas, average. We did one of that. They are available here for your quick reference. But even better, if let's say in Excel you want to quickly look up some formulas, as soon as you know the spelling of that formula, meaning let's say you want to look at let's say combination, right? Something like that, combination. If you type in first couple letters of combination, right? All these formulas related combination will come up, and you can just click on it to see the description of the formula and use that to come up the proper input of the formula and then to calculate the result. Okay, so this is something is like a pretty straightforward system to use. You can always look up some formula really quickly on your own without too much hassle. Okay, and then data. Okay, so we don't have to do any data analysis, but if you need to do the data analysis, then you need to activate add-ins here. So you go to file. Under file, you're going to see options, and you go to the main menu here under the add-ins, and right here you see Excel add-ins, and you go to click on go, and you can pick the first analysis tool pack, right? And that's basically if you want to conduct any data analysis here, check that tool pack. And as you can see, this, you click on data one more time, and this analysis will come up, right? You will be able to do any data analysis under this particular option. Okay, yeah, that's basically main things in the Excel. And later on, once we get to a specific Excel project, if you need any review on any knowledge about Excel, I will do that before you start working on your actual Excel projects. Okay, and yeah. So any question, any comments on Excel? Okay. All right, so this is one sheet. On any given assignments, let's say if you need multiple sheets, you can just right next to this sheet one, click on plus sign here. You'll be able to get a blank sheet, another blank sheet, and maybe put your work here, if necessary. And you can create as many sheets as you want, right? And if you right click on it, you'll be able to, let's say you insert a extra sheet you don't need, you can just delete it, right? So right here, you can right click on the keyboard, and these options will come up. You'll be able to delete it. You can also rename it, okay, to a different, like let's say extra assignment, something like that. Right, something like that, and then you can rename it. It will stay as is. That's just something it's doable here. Excel demo. Yep. All right, and then that's basic introduction on Excel. That's what we're gonna do today. I guess I haven't come up with the office hour yet, but I will. So typically, every Wednesday before the class, from 10 to 11, I can hold office hour. So if you guys want to let's say ask me questions or maybe talk to me about any like specific concern, in the class, or you encounter difficulty, you try to work out something with me, let me know, right? We can meet up before the class on Wednesday. Maybe Fridays. No, maybe let's do this. Let's hold office hour on Friday. So Friday before the class from 10 to 11, I could meet with you via Zoom if you need to meet with me. Okay. And I guess we start this Friday, right? So this Friday, if you, let's say you have some issue you want to talk to me, let me know, right? Send me an email, and we will meet via the Zoom. Okay. All right. So so first day I guess get familiar with the textbook before the next Wednesday meeting. So every Wednesday we'll do lecture, and every Friday, typically I could go over any homework assignments you may have issue with, and also you work on Excel projects on Fridays. Okay. Okay, so today's the first day. We don't have, that's pretty much we're gonna cover today. And before that, can I just start the video very quickly? So yeah, so I guess I will talk to you guys on Friday. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
no problem.
you.
Bye-bye, guys. If you want to talk to me in private, you can stay after this, and then we can talk, right? Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank
Bye-bye, guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys on Friday.
Thanks, Professor. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Okay.